Okay, let you guys come back here for a second. While I'm waiting, sorry about that. I would have came on a little bit earlier, but uh, had an issue just a second ago. So give me a second. I gotta take my round out. Let me get this back in the holster. Here lately, I've been having some weird. I'm just gonna call it motorcycle issues. I've noticed some of the vests, some of the colors. I know what they are. I know who they are. But just had a group of bikes with a certain group from Kokomo, at least 3 or 4 of them sitting out front, kind of grabbing their bikes directly out right from the house, or I would have came back with you guys a little bit sooner. If you guys already seen, I've got my desktop set up, like the whole system, everything. I'm trying to work with the mic. So I heard some of you said you guys could hear me. Some of you guys said they couldn't. So we went back old school. So I had to get the cell phone set up after I had to take care of a little issue out front. We've had this middle of the night, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and bikes just sitting directly out from the house, not the stop sign, but directly out in front of the house, just sitting there, just revving on it. I've got an issue, a little issue I've had up in Kokomo. People call me a snitch, kind of doing the same thing, but somehow or another found out where I'm at now. Okay, we're going to get back to the subject matter I was trying to speak about. I've been speaking for the last couple weeks now out of their safety, their security, and their privacy. I won't say who she is or who they are, he or she is, but I am going to say this much. It is a family member of Mia Rael's. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. If you guys are watching, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Make sure I got my mic where I need it to be. Give me 2 seconds. So I don't need these on. Nobody's coming on. I'm going to put my headphones down. But after speaking to this close person that's very close to Mia Rails, there's some subject matter, and it's the continuance, the more you know. The Kokomo drug ring. I spoke up on Mia Rail's case right when it happened. I had a very, very bad gut feeling this wasn't going to turn out how it should and needs to be based off the drug ring and names around other missing cold cases. Give me 2 seconds. I got an alarm coming up. So I'm back with you. But on Mia Rail's case, there's some facts that they left out. Some very, very key issues where some details, like a cell phone. She was missing for a little over a month, and mind you, if you had a cell phone sitting out the elements for a little over a month, it would have water damage. The cold would have gotten to it. It would not have a cell phone battery left to turn on. But this certain individual, family member, close friend, I'm just going to put it that way, let me know that they were actually able to pick up her cell phone and turn it on. It was just like somebody just left it there right before they found the body. And another key issue was, like I said, for a little over a month, the cell phone to have battery in the rain, elements, cold, freezing cold at that, no freezing damage, being out below sub weather, no water damage. It had a active battery that was able just to be easily turned on. like this family saying, and this close individual to her is even saying, how's that possible? Mind you, this is not the first deemed a suicide. And there was another family. He was about like an uncle to me. I'm going to get to his case here in a little bit. But there's some details, like on toxicology, only showed pills in her system. But she had a blanket and a pillow sitting right next to her. Not over her, not under her, but sitting next to her, along with a bong, a weed bong. This individual actually said she actually stopped smoking about 3 months prior to going missing. She didn't smoke any longer. She hasn't smoked for over 3 months. Showed in toxicology. No weed in her system. But yet there was a bong and a beer can right near where she was found, but did not show up in toxicology whatsoever. Like this individual even said, it's almost like it was staged. Something they're not telling you is also there was a mattress not too far from the body, almost like somebody just throwing it out. But some key issues on like Mia's case reminds me of Scott Grimes, close family friend of mine. Very few people, some in Milwaukee Iron, knew he was almost like an uncle to me, via my ex. Let my ex know, it's like, yeah, he played Santa during Kokomo. Legion and a few others, he played Santa every year. And he wasn't one of those fake beards or anything. He'd actually grow his beard out and everything, dye it white, like bleach it and then get it ghost white, gain the weight to actually become St. Nick for the kids during the winter. It's like his case. They ruled it a suicide, but he had a CPAP mask on him working. And if anybody knows what a CPAP is, it's to keep you alive, keep you breathing while you're sleeping. CPAP was on and active to keep him alive that night, but yet to wake up in the morning with wrist brace on. If anybody knows how the wrist brace, if I had mine on right now, it makes it harder where I can even push. Let alone, I'll show you with mine. And I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to have anybody demonetize me, but, and I've got how you're supposed to. But if your wrist is completely solid and the wrist brace goes up to about right here, which would make it hard to get it to where anywhere you would need it, it'd make it hard to even pull the trigger. But they're trying to roll his case of suicide, guns missing out of the house, CPAP on to keep you alive during the night while you're sleeping, just to wake up in the morning, early morning, to off yourself? Does that seem right to you? Even his mom spoke out at the funeral. KPD in the coroner's office got it wrong. He didn't do this. He was murdered. And it's the same thing that's bringing up in Mia's case. Individuals real close to her, family and friends, she wouldn't do this. And the person I've been talking to, she was like, if she had any feelings like this, she would have told me. She would have reached out. I'm going to bring up something else on Mia's case. She's not the first. She's not the second. She's the third ex. And recently, after becoming an ex to this girlfriend of hers that she just dumped that night, she's the third ex that within very few days, if not a few hours, like Mia's case, becomes the third dead ex. Third deceased ex of this girl. What's the first? Okay, you could overlook that. Second, but 3 in a row, it's nothing they brought up. But they were asking me why I started talking about her case and why I kind of backed off of it. And like I was telling him, if I had some of the information like I do now, I would have kept pushing. And same thing, like I said, right at the very beginning of her case, when I seen the mom of the ex-girlfriend, drug rings, and names shown around other missing killed cases, Marion, where a father had to watch what I'm hearing, his two sons get executed, shot execution style. And they shot the dad. The dad was the dealer back to the Kokomo ring, Cartel fed ring at that. And I've been noticing where there's some major issues when it comes to this ring. Certain people, if their friends are connected to this ring, get light sentences, issues kind of overseen, like Destiny Pittman. There's a former Like Iron member spoke up, and I still got this in writ. You seriously think they don't know who did Destiny's case? She's like, he was like, if you think KPD and Like Iron doesn't know who did her case, it was her ex-boyfriend. And with their good old boy ties, Like Iron's wanting to take care of him themselves in-house. But yet they've been letting this guy walk free. And their little pool with Kokomo Good Old Boy Club, he's been walking free. They've been using her case as a PR stunt. Like Blaine said, do you think any of these motorcycle clubs there in Kokomo are doing anything good and mean it? Like these rides for the missing? They're using Destiny's case when they know who did it. That's within the club. It was the former former president's daughter. It also reminds me, I've actually heard there was actually a member. I'm going to get about one member's name, Rebel. He's let it be known that there's a Milwaukee Iron member right now sitting within the club. He's got an underage girlfriend. Got a wife, but he's got a side chick. Underage, about 16. Let it be known. And when it comes to the drug ring, there's a recent, not too far back, member that was actually manufacturing and selling methamphetamine within Milwaukee Iron. Got a real light sentence. And I've had some people ask and question me on a decision. I even called out Mark McCann last night. You're going to have a federal eyewitness to Karina McClurkin's case. Mark McCann. There was an investigator there with the prosecutor's office, Mr. Whitehead, Don Whitehead. Called me in after KPD tried saying I withheld information on Karina's case and was trying to charge me for withholding information. I had to show this Mr. Don Whitehead, the investigator with Howard County Prosecutor's Office, texts, calls. He actually heard conversations between me and this federal agent, Michael Curtis, that was over me. He's now retired. And I've had people saying, oh my God, he's talking about being an informant. I wasn't a drug. I wasn't a gang informant with the FBI. I did foreign and domestic terrorism cases. Foreign and domestic terrorism. I put my life on the line to make sure you and yours could sleep well at night. There was cases like the Indiana ISIS couple. Same little militia group where I'm going to bring up where, like Tony Slocum, he's got one friend of his, and Tony's over Delphi. He's got one friend of his been in my FBI informant files for, about 7 years? And over 24 friends of his belong to the same militia group Brad Holder belongs to. The Sons of Odin group, Brad Holder, Gable Ellis, Kyle Stacy, Tyler French, and a few others belong to. I was asked about 3 months before Delphi to speak up and to actually start looking and giving them names on people I found within that group. Brad Holder and a few others sit in my files, names I found within that group. I've had people like Paige Shirley say I'm crazy. I've actually held not only in writ, but in a video where you're actually coming out saying, oh, the girl I helped was not Karina McClurkin that you picked up, it was Shanna Turner. And I've actually got documentation where Miss Turner was actually in California at the time you're saying you picked her up. That's hard facts. And you left out when you're on Sunny's page the other night, the whole fact that you tried saying that's who you picked up, and it's a close family friend of yours of you and your wife's. I know what you tried showing Adam, but the other pings that my federal lawyer has are the real ones. Not just GPS coordinates, this, that, and the other. What you think is the truth. There's cell data, text, calls, pings that my federal lawyer has. It's going to be brought up in the trial, along with audio and video, where I actually had to meet Brewster Fitz with mobile ground shakers at the old clubhouse in front of Milwaukee Iron. Picked him up in my car, and I've had audio and video within the car. So Brew and a few others like Dragons MC, there was callers there, at least 2 of them. One Nation, Ricky Bubby Lewis, standing to what it would look like my right, Marlena's left, Brewster Fitz standing next to me. You all were on audio and video. Marlena Smith, Karina's mom. I want you to think long and hard before we go to trial. And I've had people bashing me. Like I said, the continuance, so the more you know. I've got an audio and video where Karina's mom admits that she was called by the suspects at Haley Tinder's apartment over on Harrison Street to come pick up Karina's cell phone and her glasses. While there, she was shown a hole behind a mirror. They took the mirror off, and they showed her what was behind that mirror was a hole. And even Blaine, if you remember the last live I did with Blaine, even Blaine said, yes, they took the mirror off, showed him a hole behind it. Didn't tell him the story behind it. Marlena asked, the blood and hair in there, why are you showing me this hole? The remnants around that hole. Why are you showing me that? They said when the Kokomo firefighter that paid Gabriel Ellis to beat and rape her again, during the beating, the raping, her head went into the hole. That wall. They hid with a mirror from their landlord. So they were able to get it fixed. I called Mark McCann's office last night. This lady was trying to tell me there's about 50 witnesses. 50 witnesses, kind of weird. That's a lot of witnesses. And she's like, how do you know that you as a federal witness, eyewitness at that, how do you know if you're not part of it? How do you know if you're not involved? Like, it's not known. I'm like, grand jury. Was I notified whatsoever? The reason being is if it went and they allowed a federal witness to come forward on Karina's case, their egos, the sham, what they're trying to do now, wouldn't be held. They know it would go federal, and the corruption, the drug ring, everything that's involved, their ties, their connections, the corruption, They know it would all be seen. So yes, Mark McCann knows there's going to be a federal eyewitness of the case. Audio and video of Marlena, Brewster Fitz, Ricky Bubby Lewis. So I keep naming the names of motorcycle members that were actually there, showing a show of force. Pretty much what is said here stays here, and what's done here stays here. I'm supposed to be sitting well with that, not wanting to speak up, not wanting to say anything, not when her own mom, cold as all day, looked at me. The Kokomo firefighters she named that was still active. Kokomo firefighter. The Kokomo fire stations. Station number 4. She looked at me cold as day. Paid Gabriel Ellis to go again. When he did, he got a little too rough, her own words, on audio and video. Ended up choking her daughter to death. They dismembered her and disposed of her. And after that was done, they called her to actually come get her cell phone and glasses. Was given a tour of the crime scene. And people ask me why I'm willing to stand on Flint's side, when even Jerry's admitted in writ she left Flint Farmers. That's not the real crime scene. It's not where it happened, not how it happened. If anything, he has a very, very minute involvement in that case when it comes to the missing and killing part. And everybody forgets on the affidavit, she came to his house afraid and ran from somewhere and asking him to stay there because she was afraid. In the 2017 interview, I didn't give a name of where she came from. All she kept saying is, like, if they see me, I'm as good as dead. Same thing she was telling Flint, can I stay with you? I'm afraid. Can I stay with you? And I actually been talking to his family and friends. When he gets drugged up, he gets to the point where he passes out. His sister said there's been about every day she would come visit him just to make sure he's not overdosed, laying dead in his apartment. But like I said, I called Mark McCann's office last night. I looked at him. Since you guys want to withhold information, that I had to see Mr. Whitehead to prove that I was speaking the truth. I was an FBI informant turned federal eyewitness in Karina's case. Everything I was saying was true. It's on audio and video. There's going to be a lot that comes out during this trial they don't want you to see. It's more than one case. And one of the lieutenants over Karina's case, Mr. Hahn, you ran off Karina's case and went over to the coroner's office. Well, at the coroner's office, you've been involved. Coroner's office and KPD and a few others mishandling cases, remains. People you said suicides weren't suicides. Sick. Give me a second. I gotta move this because I gotta resit in my chair. After a while, I kind of go numb. But like I said, the more you know. The cartel fed drug ring. Who's being paid off? What for? Why? We're not talking a few $100 here and there. Look over to California. There was a deputy making runs with drugs across state lines. $250K per run. Full runs, he'd be a millionaire. More money than he would ever get off a pension. If I wasn't speaking the truth, why over a dozen KPD officers, when I started speaking up, especially after I got the video within KPD, over a dozen KPD officers up and ran. Early retirement, some just up and quit, but over a dozen. If we look back, the one after another, there was a real reason behind that. And you're looking at it. I was speaking the truth and they knew it. Former Chief Baker looked at me. If I was such a good snitch, then why aren't they doing something? You had no clue what I knew and what they were doing and what they were actually already looking at. You, as the people, need to speak up. Michael Curtis told me himself, the corruption within Kokomo and Howard County, they have known about for a while. They've had them sitting on the back burner, brewing. Well, I think it's about time for that to boil over, and for you, the people, to start speaking out. The FBI knew about the corruption. So many within Howard County, Kokomo, knows about the Good Old Boy Club, the MC clubs. Let's put it this way. The FOP president, he was told by KPD not to be hired by Indiana State Police because there's corruption over at Rocheville as the town marshal. Got another town marshal where he's actually been lying to you and withholding the 2017 interview I had with him at the prosecutor's office. There's a lot. Like I said, the more you know. He can give out everything, every single detail. But like Mark McCann now knows, you're going to have a federal eyewitness come to that stand. What I've got on Marlena, Rooster Fitz, Ricky Bubby Lewis, what you know and what you heard with your own ears, what you've been trying to remain silent on. Marlena, you toured a crime scene where your own daughter was raped and beat and sexually trafficked, and you have remained silent. Why? Because one of the biggest meth dealers, your drugs, and LaBrittany's drugs came before Karina's own life. Jerry's actually been speaking out for ages now. You using your own daughter as a sexual mule. Why I said sexual is when you are forcing her to put things in places a child should never be forced to put anything in. It is sick. And you wonder why she got into, as a child, the addiction she had. Those bags can leak at any time, no matter how many condoms, whatever you put on it, they can leak. It could lead to an addiction. I got a feeling that's where Karina's addiction came as a child. And anybody that's been talking bad about her, I'm not talking bad. That little girl was 2 weeks into her 18th birthday. And everybody's been talking sick things about Karina. You've been talking about a child. I don't see you talking about two children over in Delphi that the same drug rings around and was the cause. I don't see you talking bad about those two children now, do I? I want you to keep in mind, some of these people in the comments I've been getting, the sick things that were talking about a child that was only 2 weeks into her 18th birthday is sick. Gabe already proves he had a thing for underage kids. He trafficked yet another child and got by with it. And yes, I consider Karina a child. She never got to see the adult life whatsoever. 2 weeks into her 18th birthday, she was still a kid when she lost her life to a Kokomo firefighter. And KPD and Howard County, the prosecutor's office, they don't want you to know that. How about you call the governor's office and actually have them look into where Flint Farmer, Brittany Cossey, Heath Evans, people that he's been friends with for years, Mark McCann, rolled over their cases, prosecuted their cases. You wonder why people like Heath Evans got so very light sentences, probation, when other people would have got years in prison. Fentanyl. Fentanyl patches. Stole them on duty in uniform. Put them on, was drugged up on duty. Only got probation. Brittany Cossey. She was the one that actually made the call and actually set the Uriah Levi case up for that black lady to actually be killed. Shot in the back. They were planning to actually traffic that woman. That's why she got out of the house and she tried running. And Uriah Levi followed her out and shot her in the back. You got individuals like Adam Pratt. Adam J. Pratt. Pratt. Friends with the prosecutor. Friends with Judge Lynn Murray. Among others. He's got drug felonies. Violent felonies. At that. But yeah, he's friends with so many people. Like Brittany Cossey, when she had the warrant for her, able to walk around freely. No care in the world. On Brittany, her new case, yeah. Just like Brittany Drake in the Marion Javon Blackwell case, look her up. Brittany Drake. Just like Brittany Cossey. Light sentences. Just like Marion County did. Why under 3-strike law? That needs to be in place. Because a lot of people, just like the one that killed the officer in Elwood, Marion County, these prosecutors like Mark McCann and others need to be held accountable. People are getting out, so light charges, just to kill, beat, rape, torture, execute, over and over and over again. Sick. I want to go into this a little bit deeper, but on Mia's case, look more than what meets the eye. Like I said, there was a bong sitting next to the body. The pillow and blanket were on, and the pillow wasn't under her head. It was beside, like it was staged. A cell phone sitting on the trail. Nobody picked up, nobody messed with. No weather. Got to. Undamaged. Unscratched. Nothing. Like it was placed there. And you think you can trust the people that you're hearing, and you're calling people like me a liar? The more you know. The corruption, the issues that you don't see. You need to look deeper than what meets the eye. I'm going to go into this a little bit further. I've been bouncing a little all over the place, but I'll go into this a little bit further later on. But open your eyes, people. Look and open your eyes. This drug ring, the cartel-fed drug ring, is around Indiana alone, 46 cases. I've shown 82 cases across 10 states. This exact drug ring's been around. The new ties, the real reason Keegan Klein went to Vegas wasn't weed. It was new ties that the cartel got. There was a Kokomo woman. Her brother, Minnie, like Blaine and a few others, went to school with. His sister married into the cartel, and it allowed Kokomo's drug cartel ring to have new affiliations with Vegas. The new Vegas tie. 2015, there was a bunch of laced meth and stuff coming in. making people sleep, overdose a lot like you are seeing now. And everybody thinks, what is with all these overdoses? Half the time, to make a little extra money, the cartel's known to lace their stuff with fentanyl. It'll give them more meth to use because just a little bit of fentanyl, you can make a weak batch of meth and it still get them high. Save a buck, have extra meth, just slice with a little bit of cheap fentanyl you're getting from China. Everybody's wondering about all the overdoses in Kokomo. You hit the cartel. That drug ring Reggie Valentine belonged to barely was hit. It's cartel fed. Proven 2018 raids. It needs to be hit in full harder. The Kokomo drug ring, kingpin families like the Chavezes, Gonzalez, Ochoa, Dukes, among a few others, need to be hit. I've got every name. I'll spit every kingpin member's name because you know what? I got a feeling. You know what I got to say about the Kokomo cartel? I'm going to watch you burn. I'm going to destroy you. And you know what I got to say about the Kokomo cartel? I'm not afraid. I am trained in urban combat. You think I'm scared of your little wannabe soldiers? Chavez's, Dukes, Ocoas? And Blue Lamp, yeah, Indiana is a landfill, and it's not just Indiana. Like I said, Las Vegas, that's Nevada, Kentucky, Illinois, Ohio. And I want you guys to look into something not many know about. But look up, if some of you are sitting right now on your phones when I get off of here, go into the Indiana State Police missing person data clearinghouse. It's Indiana State Police missing person clearinghouse. You'll be surprised of how many missing cases right now are going on in the state of Indiana. They're not talking about. Even children, you're not hearing a word about. And some even just put today. You won't hear a word about. You'll be surprised how many missing cases are right now in Indiana that they're not speaking up about. Nobody's talked about. You're not seeing this on the news. But like I said, Indiana State Police missing person clearinghouse. Look on there and you'll see something. It's going to open your eyes. Holy crap. The amount of missing cases right now, even just open and active today, you're going to see what agency we're at, the age, who this person is. And there's only been a few missing cases been talked about here in Indiana. I'm going to start picking a few of these names off and start speaking up. And Blue Lamp, trust me, it gets even worse. 12 kids have lost their lives to this drug ring. 7 were burned alive. 2 were shot execution style. And I wouldn't say it's the Gabe Ellis meth ring. He was like PG even said, he was one of the bigger drug ring operators. One of the bigger dope dealers. And how he got so big, another reason why KPD gave him and Howard County gave him such a light sentence instead of the child exploitation. And truthfully, the Monticello one, Flora, the Logansport fires, look at Daniel Haidt and a few others. The dad that was found dead wasn't a suicide. Look up Daniel Haidt and back to the Kokomo drug ring. You're going to start being surprised what you look, if you know where to look and what names to look at to. And At first, I was thinking about doing Patreon only. I'm thinking about going on here, calling them out by name. Adam Krell, Crell. You got Amanda Bass, Bass. Sarah, Sara, May, Mae, among a few others. I'm thinking about really starting to just sit down and do like a screen record and start showing you some names. Then once you start looking at these names, holy crap! Like Adam J. Pratt, Sarah May, Lucky Singh, Singh, from 2018 all the way up to 2022. Lucky's been around every single dealer that has been busted. Take a look on Facebook. You'll see that for yourselves. Like people like Adam J. Pratt, friends with the judge. Lynn Murray, Murray. I think that's how you spell her name. Prosecutor Mark McCann. Look at the 2018 drug raids and do some research when it comes to the 2018 drug raids. And people like Angie Rowe, Roe, a broker, one of the main brokers with Wyman Real Estate, the commissioner of Howard County. Look how many dealers there are in the 2018 raids that know even her. And a few others. Open your eyes. Uriah Levi. Did you realize he was actually family with an FOP president? Did you realize where mobile ground shakers, the shootings, the rapings, the beatings, everything that happened at their old clubhouse, and even the one now, for wannabe badass motorcycle club, when they had Sin City come in armed, they ran right to the police, and I guarantee you what officer, one of their colored members, family members, how they were best buddy with KPD, how they got by with so much. Malaki Iron. You wonder why Tony Klein's not being looked at? Just like Shannon Young's being protected by that good old boy club. She's patched, she's collared with Malaki Iron. And a few others. How, like I said earlier, a Malaki Iron member. Manufacturing meth, dealing in meth, and you got a real light sentence. Just a slap on the wrist. Bad boy. Give me 2 seconds. I got it. And Mark McCann, I've been talking to a certain few family members where you keep harassing, threatening. Go ahead and send me a little letter. My federal lawyer is waiting on it. We'll be more than glad to get this change of venue and a special prosecutor involved. And let me send me the letter where my cell phone is being watched by a judge's order. We'll get a change of venue. Federal special prosecutor. I want you guys all to speak up. Call the governor's office. Demand Mark McCann be taken off. Conflict of interest. More than one case, but he's been friends with Flint Farmer's family, his sister, Flint himself. Don't believe me? Go on Mark McCann's friends list right this second on Facebook. You're going to see Flint Farmer's latest Facebook profile. How can you be friends? A conflict of interest, but yet prosecute a friend of yours, a lifelong family friend that you went to school with? Even Jerry McClurkin even said, he told her, I went to school with him. I've been friends with Flint for years. I'm curious about the rumors of gay bells making meth near the Freedom Bridge and hydrosmona that was stolen from Toby Garth. Toby Garth, I was the one, nobody really noticed that, but Toby Garth was actually the manager of the anhydrous ammonia plant that Derek German stole the ammonia from. Gable Ellis, about the same time, 2018, I believe it's 2018. No, 2008. About the same time, Gabe Ellis, not too soon after Derek and Dustin Prater got busted for the anhydrous ammonia theft, Derek German and Heather Ferris got busted 100 South and Prince William Road. Not even 50 feet from the same tanks. Derek German and Dustin Prater stole the ammonia from. Not even 50 feet. If you look, and if anybody's near, go to 100 South and Prince William Road. You'll see this on the Tribune. I think it's like the Barrows Tribune there. If you look it up on Google, Gabriel Ellis and Heather Ferris manufacturing meth, 100 South and Prince William Road. But like I said, before you bash me taking the side of Flint Farmer, I've got audio and video where Marlena said there was a Kokomo firefighter that paid Gabriel Ellis when he was sexually trafficking Karina at his daughter's place, Haley Tinder's apartment, over on Harrison Street. And it's the same Harrison Street Marlena told me that she toured the crime scene when they called to get her cell phone and her glasses. If they're getting judge's orders to pull for the next 30 days, family members of Flint, every family member of Flint's for the next 30 days has got a judge's order to follow their cell phone data, texts, calls, anything they do are being watched. I've been texting 2 family members of his. The reason being, I want Mark McCann to send me a letter. My federal lawyer is waiting on it. Like I said, we're going to go into a federal special prosecutor and a change of venue. And my federal lawyer is going to be sitting there. You're lucky, Mark McCann, if we don't actually pull up. And my federal lawyer is sitting there on the defense side and putting the paperwork in saying, hey, we want to change of venue. We got a federal eyewitness sitting on the stand, subpoenaed. We want to change of venue and a special federal prosecutor involved right now. And put the paperwork right then. The moment I take in and I swear in on that stand. We're already planning it. You can make this hard on yourself or you can do the right thing right now. Marlena's own words, Flint did not kill her. Jerry and Marlena both, and I've got, like I said, on audio and video when it comes to Marlena, Flint did not kill her. She left Flint Farmer's place. And the text I sent her, if she was dead, who answered the text when I said, Michael Phillips, hey, my name is Michael Phillips. I was the one that helped you last night. Did you make it home? And I got a text back from her cell phone. Yes, I made it home. Thank you for everything. What the person does not understand was she made me a promise. She texted me back. She was to answer that phone to make sure it was her. That phone was accidentally answered. And what was weird on that whole call, it was ruffling. And like I said, Karina made me a promise to answer that phone to make sure it was her. They can ping and they can track Flint's family members. But Marlena getting called by suspects to come to her crime scene and pick up her cell phone and glasses. Paige Shirley lying out of her mouth, lying out of her teeth. Do the right thing. Or the moment we take us into a federal case, into the federal prosecutors, special prosecutor involved, in federal court, by all means, we'll do it. Truth needs to come to light. The same drug ring, the same individuals behind Karina's I've got a family member of Sierra Daily, the underage girlfriend. I asked her, was Gabe Ellis in the same group behind Karina? Was Sierra with them when they went and did Delphi? I don't think she was. And I brought up, if she wasn't with them, then she knows who did Delphi. She needs to speak up. And I've got that in writ. I can more than glad show you. If you look back, I've already shown it. I don't think she was. Once they realized, oh crap. And so I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it's questionable on the Monticello fire. Just highly questionable is all I'm going to say on that. And anybody that's calling me a liar right now, silent partner with Derek and drug trafficking. And Trent, I'm not going to go into a guessing game on your answer. I'm not going to say they are or they aren't, but it's awfully weird that they're keeping him silent. Don't you think that's just a little weird? He's staying completely silent. And I've got Anna saying, anytime Carrie speaks up, it's just because she's mad. Anna's own words. And Blue Lamp, guaranteed. Some of this, so do you believe some of these Kokomo activity bleeds over into the Delphi? Correct, 110%. There's individuals. Why do you think the bridge guy went missing? No sooner it happened. February 15th, he was picked up and he's sitting in prison right now as we speak. Might have been the bridge guy, but I'm telling you this much now. Just like Karina's case, he didn't have an active hand. There was individuals with him that actually did the killing, did his dirty work, did his dirty deeds. But I want you to look at his mugshot. I want you all to demand touch DNA done on those girls' shoes. If you do a converse, and if anybody that's really good about cutting and pasting and copying and pasting, do a converse like Abby was wearing and get the 2015, not 15, but 2017, February 15th mugshot, Gabriel Ellis, his eye. And it looks like he was kicked from above when he went to go help hold somebody's leg down. It's almost like he got kicked from below, an upward angle, but it was just a weird angle where it was almost like the shoe came in when he went to go lean down to hold somebody's foot down. But I'm telling you this much now. Look at the February 15th, 2017 mugshot on Gabe Ellis. And I want you guys to tell me, whoa. And if they do the touch DNA, I talked to Anna about this, and Anna was like, aren't felons, they get their DNA taken once they are charged with a felony. I was like, honey, that started after 2021. It's a new law. Back in 2017, like the ones like Gabriel Ellis, didn't have to do that. I want you to keep in mind, Marlena's own words, there's a Kokomo firefighter that was actually involved, murdered Karina, was a rapist and murderer that went on to get paid by City of Kokomo. Do you think City of Kokomo would want that out? They've got a rapist and murderer. They got a firefighter exposing himself to an underage girl. They had a police officer stealing narcotics on duty in uniform. They had enough going on that was already being a black guy. And for a rapist and murderer to be on the fire department, being paid by the City of Kokomo, that come out, that would have been looking even worse. They had a drug addict officer in uniform, drugged up while in uniform. He could have shot somebody would they have covered that up if he shot somebody on duty while drugged up on fentanyl? Friends with the prosecutor. Go look right now. Heath Evans is still friends with Mark McCann. And you wonder why he only got, what was it? Probation. Then he got special privileges to move down to Florida. Ask yourselves. Look at more than what meets the eye. But like I said, on Sarah May and a few others, open your eyes. And I've got people calling me crazy and I'm nuts and I'm a liar and I don't know what I'm talking about. Go back to 24 hours before the press conference and how Paige is trying to say, oh my God, he's a stalker. I had to get a protective order as an FBI informant. No help by the agent that was over me, Michael Curtis. I had to get a protective order from the driver. Wasn't I was 100% scared of her or any of her friends. It was the whole fact I knew as an FBI informant, active. If I had the paper trail showing I was not just saying things, I had things going on, threats, harassment. I had to get in paper trail. There's also the dark colored SUV things. I'm trying to get it in the works right now. And when she was best friends with Crystal, my downstairs neighbor, and Michael has DNA results can't come in the white car with the paper plates that was at the trails the day of the murders. Also the dark colored SUV things. Dark colored SUV, Paige Shirley got rid of that sooner after the Krinas case. Then when it comes to white colored SUV, I mean not SUV but car, she got a light colored Mustang with paper plates during the time of Delphi. And it was after Delphi. I got that protective order back in December on her, and it took them over 2.5 months. But right after Delphi, things got worse. And you know what's sick? Right after Krinas, she was sitting downstairs talking to my neighbor. There's times I'd be sitting there smoking a cigarette with my neighbor or talking to my neighbor. I don't think Paige realized who I was. But right after Krinas, she was trying to say she was beaten, raped, not a scratch on her. And then she goes into laughing, joking around, like what she just said didn't happen. But right after Krinas, she was sitting down there talking to Crystal, my downstairs neighbor. And that's how I know she got rid of the truck and got the light colored Mustang, because she would pull in with that brand new Mustang right after Delphi. You want to know what her excuse on what happened to the Mustang? Come to find out she sold it. She looked at Crystal and she was like, I got in a serious wreck and I'm hurting real bad up near Walton, right near Delphi. She had family in Walton. She hid that Mustang. And why do you think she was driving Gabe Ellis's Blazer with expired plates? Her and her wife was in the front 2 seats. February 15th at Meyer. KPD made sure to withhold her name because it would not fit the narrative if it comes to find out that same driver in Karina's case that picked her up, disposed of her, helped Gabe Ellis. And question yourselves what she said on Sonny's page. If she was so afraid of Gabe Ellis, why would she take the Cheyenne Turner, which was in California at the time, out to Gabe Ellis's place? If she was so afraid of this guy, why would you take a person out to Gabe Ellis's if you're afraid for your own life of Gabe Ellis? Why would you take somebody out there? Her own words, she didn't think through. She cannot keep her own lies straight. And I've said the same story, and it's not a story. It's the truth. Unlike her, she cannot remember the same lies that she's been trying to spew. She mixes it up from what she said before. She's had so many lies going, she cannot remember the last lie. It's sick. And I guarantee if you do the DNA forensics on both of those cars, you got 3 people, including 3 kids. Karina McClurkin was only 2 weeks under 18. She was a child herself. Remember that, people. She was a child herself. I guarantee you're going to find all 3 kids' DNA in both of those vehicles. Mark my words. Haley Tinder's apartment, I guarantee you, just like the FBI said, the Delphi girls were taken, the case happened elsewhere. You look, all 3 DNA is going to be in Haley Tinder, Gabe Ellis's daughter's apartment. The same apartment where a certain individual I've been doing a live with, I'm not going to say names, even admits that her apartment was being used as a trap house. Gabe Ellis's daughter, Haley Tinder's apartment, was actually being used as a trap house. Give me a second. I'm reading up on. Did you read the comment I wrote on Sunday's live stream with Paige? And long reply, she replied, "Yes, I did." I found the Jew yonder's hands and clothes and helmet, fires. And straight from the horse's mouth, I want you to remember this. Look right now. When we get off of here, I'm going to go ahead and end this live here soon. But look into Christy Lynn Martin. She was a local meth dealer, that took charges in place of Gabe when a certain father tried rolling on Gabe Ellis. She took the charges, and even her sister admits she took the charges in place of Gabe when a certain father in Delphi tried rolling on Gabe and getting him hit. Well, look on Christy Lynn Martin's. You're going to see an Andrew Thomas with Florida Fire Department. He's a Florida firefighter, still sitting on a known big meth dealer in Florida. And then remember, in the Florida fires, I'm not blaming the mom. Don't get me wrong. But the drug traffic that was coming in and out of the house, you don't think if Gabe and Christy were owed money from the traffic that was going in and out of that house? There's another individual that was getting fronts out of Frankfurt. Same cartel drug ring. I've gotten writ said they're not afraid to even kill their kids to get the money they are owed. Everybody's like, why won't they go after the people that owed them? Cartel and the cartel drug rings, they don't operate like that. If you owe them money, they're going to hit your children, your wife, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. You're going to hit the ones close around you to get you to cough up the money on what they are owed. And they're not afraid to kill children. And I've got that writ. It was a dealer that was actually busted in 2015 over in Frankfurt. Like even they said, they're not afraid of killing kids. Look at Mexico and how the cartel's running. The murders. People dismembered. Laying in the streets. Children. It's here in Indiana, and you need to open your eyes. Like I said, 7 kids were burned alive by this same drug ring. The individuals near it. 12 kids, 13 including Karina, and 14 including Mia, are shown near this drug ring. Mia's case, mark my words, it gets reopened by federal. Hers was not a suicide, mark my words. When there's family and friends of that girl, they're saying things aren't matching up. Like I said, it's not the first, not the second, but it's the third ex of that girl. Do you believe there is a chance that Gabe Ellis was connected to this young man that was started the... To be honest, yes. And straight from the horse's mouth, if you actually look back on what I was actually talking about a while back, the real reason Keegan Kline went over to Vegas, 2015, They were getting laced meth. It was causing a lot more overdoses. People to start sleeping. Some people did not want to get it because when they were getting it, yeah, they could tell it was laced with something because it was making them real tired and just wanting to sleep all the time instead of being speedy. It was making them just pretty much overdose, sleep. They didn't like it. They were starting to kick back and go find it other places. So when the girl that married into the cartel over in Vegas, she made a tie with Kokomo to Vegas, and it was the new cartel meth and drug connections. So they were getting fresh drugs from Vegas. And if you look back 2018 raids, Las Vegas, IMPD, you've got Georgia, Macon, Georgia, Chicago, and Vegas was where they were getting their drugs from. And Vegas is the one that was not named. Georgia, like I think Macon, Georgia, and Chicago is named, but they did not name Vegas. And that ring is still highly active, even to this day. Guaranteed. Amanda Parks, look her up, 2018 raids. Then look her up on my case. She was just found with double the amount of meth she had, and she was dealing in 2018. She was just picked up this year with double the amount she had. That drug ring, that cartel-fed drug ring, is still highly active to this day. It's still taking lives. It's a shame. But yes, Keegan Klein, the real reason he went to Vegas, even Blaine said, look on my last live. The real reason Keegan Klein went to Vegas was not to make money off of weed, it was meth. But hey, I'm going to get off here. My phone's about to die, but I'm going to look some more stuff up, and I'm going to actually see if I can't get the mic to work on this, where I can actually do some slides and actually do the desktop, where this will be a little bit better. And I've got a few places like Kokomo and a few others I need to get to, and everybody can call me nuts, but I still want to get to Cutler. If I find freshly dug up spots and I go in and sift and there's still remains and it gets tested, it is Karina's. Am I so nuts then? If these freshly dug up areas still hold remains and it is Karina. And there's one thing, if you look back, Paige Chile actually had a bunkmate in jail saying you're not going to find that bitch. She's dismembering. They disposed of her from Wabash, Walton, Kokomo, Peru. They scattered her remains, is what she was saying to a bunkmate and was bragging about. And then she's coming on Sunny's and lying through her teeth, and I've got more people like Adam call me a liar. And they don't know what's sitting in my FBI informant files. What I know, what I've been speaking up on. Adam, you're not even from Indiana. Sonny, you're from Canada. Deb, you might be from Fishers, but guess what, honey? You don't know what you're talking about directly on some of the names that are sitting in my informant files. And I'm calling you guys out. Adam, how about you step foot in Indiana and start doing what I've been doing? And I've been speaking up from the very beginning. Brad Holder's in my FBI informant files. Gabe Ellis is in my informant files. Curtis Beck, among a few others. So I keep listing names. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You're in it for the money, the subscribers. I've been speaking the truth. I've only got a little over 500 subs. Is it about the money? I don't think I'm asking for enough where I can actually, I'll push myself. Like right now, you see right here in the chair. I've been getting some guns from doing what? Pushing myself. And by what? Chair? I'm going to see if I can get a Willie going here. But I'll push my own self, my own happy self, to Kokomo, Cutler, anywhere I need to go. I'm not asking for the extra money for a Lyft ride. How expensive Lyfts and Ubers are now, That money I could use for drinks, food. It's 47 miles from where I'm sitting right now to get to Cutler. It's 27 miles from where I'm sitting right now to get to Kokomo. There's a couple cases like Mia's and a few others. I'm going to get the drone up, and I'm going to actually sit in person. And I'm going to ask him for extra money to stay in a hotel. I got an air mattress. I've got a tent. I don't have anything to keep my stuff charged. I've got the best, and I got the legal means to keep myself safe. I got the bulletproof vest. And to show you guys, give me a second. I have to use my crutches to get up real quick. Ow. But when I'm talking about like some of the other things I'm going to be speaking of, I'm going to show you guys tourniquets. I got more than one. Trauma shears. Your best friend. Emergency bandages. This not only, if you look up Israeli emergency bandages, I've got a med kit on the way. Like I've been talking about, and that's nothing besides missing cold case, I'm going to start showing you guys on when to and to not use a tourniquet. If it's from here, well, I'll show you from here, where you can actually get a tourniquet on. Below that, that's a tourniquet on your legs. If it's above where you cannot put a tourniquet below it to stop the bleeding, that is gauze. You pack it, you seal it, you put pressure on. If it's gut-wise, something like that, it's pressure. I've got some things we call duck calls. So if you get shot in your chest right here, in order for your lung not to collapse, these bandages go over, and it's got a rubber piece right here where it lets air out, but it closes up and not allow air in to collapse your lung. So I've got a few things that I got coming in, and I'm spending just a little here and there. The little extra I get, and disability I just got where I'm getting my back pay. So I'm going to get a few other things. I'm going to show you guys some very good things and advice. There is a killer still on the loose. Any of you putting yourselves at risk, and I hate saying it like that, but going to some of these places like where I'm saying, I'm armed. I've got the training, medical know-how. When it comes to not just your regular cuts and bruises, but when it comes to combat, like shots, getting shot, how to attend to that, even to yourself, to keep your lung from collapsing, how to apply that, clean it just enough where you can apply that bandage. We call it a duck call. Look that up on Google. Like when it comes to like the upper body, like torso, and it's a duck call bandage. That's what we call it. It's a duck call because when you breathe through it, it sounds like a whack, whack, whack. That's why we call it a duck call. Air comes out of it, and it sounds like I hate saying it like it. It's either a duck call or we call it the whoopee cushion. Because it sounds like a on a whoopee cushion. That little flap, even that little flap from a whoopee cushion, you can make into a duck call. If you don't have the actual bandage that has the rubber piece on it, it's the same principle of a whoopee cushion. It holds air in, it lets it out, but it does not allow it in unless you allow it in. But it closes itself up like a whoopee cushion. There's some things I'm going to start getting, and it's to show you guys, you don't have to spend $300-400 for a med kit, a combat trauma med kit, to know what to do. And I'm going to start showing you guys like tourniquets and things like you can buy to keep on you. Like Las Vegas, anything like that. Anything can happen at any time. And if you got something in your vehicle and you know how to use it, say there's a mass shooting or a shooting near you. Instead of waiting for law to get there, which you know is going to take minutes, every second counts when an individual like this is shot. If it's in the arm, you could put a tourniquet on. Right at the time you put the tourniquet on, and that's crucial because, like, after a couple hours, you have to get them to the, and I hate saying it like that, but yeah, I am ready for war. I've got the bulletproof vest. I've got the arms. I've got another one, couple more coming. I'm not going to say exactly what. Right now, what I'm sitting on underneath me right now is a Smith & Wesson snub nose 50 cal. It's called a Smith & Wesson 500. It's a wrist breaker. It's a 50 cal revolver. Sitting right up under my chair. Most of the time in my backpack, I've got a collapsible stock AR-15 with extra mags. I've got my Glock 22 Gen 5 40 caliber. It's always on my side. When I'm legally able to have that, I am armed to the teeth. Even if you don't see it, my vest will be on. If I'm going to a place of harm, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to get like just a regular vest, a gel vest or something like that. I wouldn't say it's gel vest, but like a couple $100 vest just to wear if you're going to go out to, like, I say, Delphi, the Modern High Bridge. They keep telling everybody, oh, nothing to be worried about. We still have a killer or killers on the loose that could be on that bridge right there just looking for the next victim or victims. You are just a friend or just walking out there just to see what it's all about, to just go look, document yourself, or walk around. It's just a couple of people. Say a couple of ladies. You need to keep your self-awareness. Some of the things I'm going to go over, not only how to save yourself or the ones around you, just certain few things that you can keep on you in a backpack, a purse. I'm going to start teaching you guys some things that you can do trauma-wise to help yourselves when you're putting yourself at risk. If there's people that are missing and killed, nobody's been charged, they could be hanging around those same crime scenes, waiting for that next victim, not knowing. And that's another thing. Look up some things like if you get duct tape, or when it comes to like I call them zip strips or whatever, but you know what I'm talking about. If you get bound in your hands, rope's a different story, but like duct tape and stuff like that, I'm not gonna lie to you. Duct tape, or if you got what are those? Yeah, but like duct tape. If you ever had duct taped around your wrist, no matter how many times they do it, you do 1, 2, 3, and you just as hard as you can against your hips. That duct tape's gonna bust. There's certain few tricks, like I'm gonna start doing some videos and everything. Like when I start getting some extra, like I said, medical, I'm gonna start showing you like just some things. Like if you're gonna put your guys' stuff at risk, I want you guys to be safe about it and know actually how to care for you and the ones around you when you're putting yourself at risk. To know who to trust to give information, your average person will open their mouths when they have to worry about their loved ones. Blue, it's like Wild Wild West. I wouldn't say it's like the Wild Wild West, but just like Samantha said, until you know who you to trust, somebody you're going to that's going to like a walk, or for the girls, they could be for the wrong side, just there to get information, to feed the information back. And that's another thing. I like to know what all Jerry McClurkin said to Gabe Ellis. Gabe Ellis said he knows everything that happened to Karina McClurkin. He was wanting to talk and speak to somebody. Why? Because he himself didn't kill her. If you just traffic, he knew he'd get a few years for trafficking. But when it comes to murder, he didn't have direct hand murder. There's a new law that the law seems they can rewrite it to themselves, where if there's a murder tied to drug dealers, like Boone County, they rewrote that law where it was actually to cover for the murder of the deputy. They rewrote the law how they wanted it to be fit. And drug dealers, there's multiple drug dealers that were convicted for murder. It's the same thing, a law most prosecutors refuse to use. But when these drug rings are tied to overdoses, all these overdoses, these drug dealers can be charged because they know who dealt. There's certain people saying, hey, the drugs came from this person, it was laced. They can get charged for murder. You don't see that happening now, do you? All these overdoses and the dealers walking free. Indiana's got a new state law. The dealers can be charged with murder. Overdoses. Boone County proved like murders. It needs to be wrote where any murder that's tied to these drug rings should be charged with murder. Each dealer. And that should go with the upper kingpins of these cartels. On down. Every single person involved with the dealing process, both murders, and when it comes to these overdoses, you should be charged with murder. Period. You're going to start seeing a lot less overdoses, a lot less missing kill cases, but you need to speak out to the one that made that law where the dealers can be charged with overdoses, and look up Boone County, Deputy Pickett. They use the same exact law, and they actually let it be known in the news. They used that new law, but they rewrote it where actually where it covers murder. More than one dealer that was involved with that were charged with murder. Is there any truth to either possible chemicals poured on the crime scene in DNA? It's a possibility. It could be anything from peroxide, baking soda, bleach. It could be about a number of things. If you know anything about anything, I've done mortuary science than I've done surgical tech. There's some things that we did surgical tech wise where it was to clean up the surgical area to where it would leave no trace. It would actually, like hospital chemicals, where it would clean up the surgical team to leave it sterile for the next surgery. When I got to where I was starting to go down with seizures and stuff like that, so I was like, okay, since I couldn't work on live bodies and safely do so, I actually went back to school and actually did mortuary science. And just like that, it has to be surgical and sterile for anybody that's coming in the next time. Because anybody that was actually deceased, they clean up that area just like it would be a surgical, leave it sterile. So if anybody needs to be re-brought up for DNA testing or anything testing-wise, even after you embalm them and everything like that, you've got to leave that area sterile for the next person that's coming through. Because if they were to be brought up, you don't want it to be intermixed. And if somebody had AIDS and you don't clean up that area for the next person coming through, it's the transmission of like AIDS and stuff like that. You don't want that to be left in your work environment. It's a long story, but yes, I could see it, but I'm not saying that it was done. And straight from the horse's mouth. One thing I'm going to tell you this much right now, you guys, was one thing Anna told me. I asked her because I was hearing there was either a K or a letter on one of the girls or around them. And I asked her if it was a K. She didn't say yes or no, but she asked, if so, why would that be there? Like I looked at her, I was like, there was a K-2016. It's supposed to be over a rock where Karina is, where they could go back and know where her remains are. There was a K-2016 over a rock or a brick where they knew where her remains were. And everybody's saying Miami County is where she was found. They never told you if it was full or partial remains. Now, did they? In Boone County, Indiana. Look up Deputy Pickett. You need to ask the guy that made that law where overdoses, the dealers can be charged. Demand the state of Indiana, demand every one of you, let the word be out. Anybody that's found in a murder of a missing and killed case, if there are murder and drug rings involved, those dealers, each and every single one of them, from high to low, needs to be charged with murder. Like Nicole Bowen's case. It was my intel that actually I got to the prosecutor where actually, you know how you was saying, like, oh, this is why we killed her. It was a fight, this, that, and the other. I worked with her family directly, and then to the prosecutor, I was like, look, his drug ring connections back to Kokomo. That area. Look towards the drugs, not away. And I showed direct ties, and they started pressing. Garrett Kurtz, he broke. We killed her over the drugs, the drug operation. We were afraid she was going to tell. And I'm hearing that she knew more. When it comes to like Karina and Delphi case, she knew information back to that she was about to tell. It wasn't just the drug operation. It was who she knew was involved with more than one missing cold case when it comes to that drug ring. Is why they killed her. Hey, my phone's going to die, but I'm going to work on a few things, and I'm going to see if I can get my mic working on the desktop. If I can get that up and going where I need to be, I'll be back on later. But I'm going to throw my comments, like, after this uploads, I'm going to throw in the comments. Anybody that's wanting to donate anything, I've got a few trips like Kokomo, Marion, and a few others. I want to start documenting a few cases at the scenes, like Mia's, and some things I'm going to walk you through on what's not being said in the More You Know series. The more I can get around, the more I can get to these places, the more I can show you from the locations. And it's another thing, when I get up to Cutler, before I ever step a foot in or push my chair or use my forearm crutches and my braces to actually get out there to the scene, I'm going to throw the drone up and take the drone out, let the drone look around before I ever step a foot back there, because without me getting accused of, oh, I knew where this was, so that was, I'm going to let the drone do the looking for me, be my legs and my eyes. If there's places that were actually freshly dug up, that's the first places I'm going to go. Because I go in there, sift around, even a few small bones. They come pick it up, it's human. It goes to get DNA testing done. It's Karina. Oh, you remember I'm a liar? I don't know what I'm talking about. It's the exact names down to what the mom herself said, who was involved. And think about it. If a Kokomo firefighter was a rapist and murderer, don't you think the same group that went on to do Delphi, how would they know where the search team was going through? Was he one of the search members saying, hey, I was from Kokomo firefighters, fire department, I'm willing to help search? Was he on the search team as a firefighter? Did they use his radio? Things that were not being spoken about publicly, to know where to put the remains, to how to stage them, when to stage them, when the search team already came through. Ask yourselves, if there's a rapist firefighter that murdered Karina, then went on to help in Delphi, firefighter, search team, radio. The more you know.